The running company Brooks claims to have launched the running shoe of the future. It's big, it's foamy, and it looks like this. Now, I was one of the first people to get to test the Glycerin Max, and here's my honest review. So I just got back from New York City, where Brooks was launching its most mysterious, elusive shoe of the year. Here's some live footage. We're in this neon pop-up store right on Broadway, whose sidewall is decorated with a Glycerin Max deconstructed in parts, and then we all take a seat to listen to their shoe engineers talk about what exactly they've created. And here they make a bold claim.
The Glycerin Max is the shoe of the future.
Future's now, old man.
Okay, back it up. That is a huge statement coming from a company that, yes, has very popular training and racing shoes, but that hasn't necessarily redefined the sneaker game in the last year. We called their flagship training shoe the Brooks Ghost effective but boring. And meanwhile, their flagship racing shoe, the Hyperion Elite 4, is a solid racing shoe, but not the best one on the market. And now I'm listening to these guys saying they've redefined the training shoe? I mean, yeah, the Glycerin Max looks like it belongs in a SpaceX factory, but at this point, I'm not sure if I buy any of it. So before heading to Central Park and testing it out for myself, I had to find out what exactly the anatomy of the Glycerin Max was. Turns out we have a pretty standard supertrainer here, so a shoe that is bigger and heavier than a racing sneaker, but also that has a lot more bounce and pop than a regular training shoe like, say, the Brooks Ghost. And also it's a pretty good supertrainer. It's priced pretty reasonably, it has a nice thick stack height, and, well, it's heavy, but these super trainers are all heavy. And the Glycerin Max is actually the second super trainer that Brooks released this year, after the Hyperion Max 2 from a few months ago. So at this point you might be asking yourself, if Brooks already has a super trainer, why all the hoopla around the Glycerin Max? Why did the Hyperion not get a super fancy launch in New York City? Well, maybe it did. Maybe it wasn't invited.
And it became personal with me.
The reason is that this shoe contains a new proprietary foam that Brooks calls nitrogen-infused DNA tuned. What it has are these little tiny cells at the front of the midsole that encourage a quick and snappy toe-off, and then larger cells at the back that are supposed to create a plush and responsive landing. And the Brooks engineers caught my attention with one more thing they said.
This foam is not only meant to be plush, but it's meant to be steady.
Meaning that it should absorb your landing and send you off the ground in a less awkward way than other shoes that have such a high stack of foam. And then I became interested, because that's my main issue with tall super shoes. You feel awkward and unsteady when you're running on them. Still, I thought, I'll see for myself if this is a shoe from the future. Just holding it in my hands, the Glycerin Max reminded me of other shoes that we've reviewed on the channel, like the Hoka Skyward X or the On Cloud Monster Hyper. But the Glycerin Max does have a key difference from the Skyward X, the Cloud Monster Hyper, and most other super shoes. It has no carbon plate.
You serious?
So I asked the developers about this and why they chose to make the Glycerin Max carbonless. And they told me that they wanted to steer away from the hardness of carbon in order to prioritize comfort over speed. Which is not exactly what you want to hear if you're about to wear them for a steamy threshold through Central Park. Okay, on to the Weartest. Okay, little update on the shoes. I started this workout thinking that they were totally not workout shoes. They felt big and clunky, and I thought, oh my God, what did I get myself into? So I told myself that I'd go a little bit quicker to compensate, and ended up going around 303 per kilometer. So a part of it, I think, is that the shoes are actually faster than I thought they were. They're kind of like the Hoka Skyward X in that they're heavy, but they have a whole lot of bounce to them too. So you're going faster than you think. But also I think a part of it too is just me trying to counterbalance the fact that I was wearing relatively heavy shoes. But what I know is these shoes can go as fast as 257 per kilometer. So that's what I averaged my first rep. Overall, I don't know if they would be my shoe of choice for workouts, but they do work for workouts. Like, I'm thinking that this is a type of shoe that you buy if you want one pair that does everything pretty well, but there certainly is faster out there when it comes to super shoes. See, they don't have a carbon plate and it does kind of show, but the good thing is my legs feel pretty good. The stack of foam really does save them, so that's a plus. So I cooled down, went home, put on a shirt eventually, and then decided that I was pretty impressed with the Glycerin Max. It held up in a pretty hard and fast workout, despite not necessarily being conceived for that. What they are made for, according to Brooks, is training. And not training for elites or training for beginners, but for everybody. They're a bulky shoe with a bit of pop that do save your legs for the next day and that don't feel awkward despite their tall size. Now, I'm pretty specific about the shoes that I wear for my workouts and my races, and for running quickly, I will probably opt for smaller shoes and lighter shoes than the Glycerin Max. But if you're someone who's looking for one pair of shoes for all of your easy runs and all of your workouts, this is a fine candidate. So maybe the Glycerin Max is not for you if you're looking for lightness and speed, but if you're more into cushioning and versatility, this is a great pick. It's a super trainer for the masses, if you will. Oh, and last pro tip. If ever you're working out in Central Park, don't run in the bike lane.
I am sure that none of you quite know why you are here.
I thought this was a shoe launch.
It's a shoe launch!
Yeah, okay, good. That's what the email said.
But I am sure that you do not know what the shoe will be.
Yeah, is it that you're taking a shoe from one of your long-standing franchises and making it bigger?
Why would you think?
Well, it's like what everyone else is doing.
But our shoe, yes, our shoe will contain a mysterious material.
Supercritical foam. Okay, wise guy. But I bet you can't guess the name. Huh? Well, it's gonna have X or Max in the name, right? So, the Adrenaline X.
No, it is not.
Glycerin Max?
Oh, dang it!